Hey y'all, welcome to Booked and Unfiltered.
Where book talk gets real, loud, and totally unhinged,
We're diving into the books that we love.
and saying all the things that your book club won't.
I'm Gloria.
And I'm Maddie.
Let's get booked and unfiltered.
Yay!
Woo! Another
Episode
episode.
4. Yes, super excited to be back, talking a little bit before the big move, just getting some conversations out of the way.
Yeah, so don't mind Maddie's background if y'all are watching the video on
Yeah,
YouTube because she's moving.
it's not cute anymore. My background's not cute. It's just all my crafts and my life packed up here. Yeah, I'm about like 3 days out from the movers coming to pack everything up, and then 5 days out from them taking everything out of our house. So my background's not going to be cute, and it'll probably be a little different in a couple episodes. So yeah.
But that just means she's gonna be a little bit closer to me. And hopefully we can meet up a lot more and do live, like not live, but we can film together. I
We
have
can do it
to,
together. Yeah.
yeah,
That would
yeah.
be so much
That's
fun.
it's definitely gonna be in our future. Which I forgot to tell you, I'm actually gonna be near you. I just booked a trip to Savannah, Georgia, the week of my birthday.
That's like 4 hours from me.
We just me and Matt just like we just booked a hotel just now, so we're leaving Father's Day and we're gonna be there that because it's we were gonna go the 4th, but it's like not a fraction of the cost, but it's like significantly cheaper to go obviously not the 4th of July. Yeah.
I was going to say, if you were there the 4th of July, we'd be like 30 minutes from each other because I would be in Jacksonville.
Is Savannah really only 30 minutes from Jacksonville?
I don't think it's that far. I may be wrong, but I know it's close.
I think maybe. I think it's maybe at least an hour. But still, that's not that
Maybe.
bad actually.
No, but so close. It's so
But
far away. But yes, Gloria and I will be much closer in 2 weeks, pretty much. I'll be like 8 hours away out of a drive versus like a 30-hour drive away from her. So that's super exciting.
hold on, I don't even know how far of a drive it would be to you at this very moment. I'm about to like look because you piqued my interest. Because you're about almost, you're 1,500 miles away from me. Let's see. If I
Sounds
hopped
about
in a
right.
car right now to you, I'll be a day and an hour. You were
Sounds
close.
about right.
Well, no, you said 50. Yeah, it's the day. It's basically 1 day and 1 hour.
So
Holy
yeah, about like
cannoli.
25 hours. Add some stops in there. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
ways away. The drive that I'm doing is about 30 hours, so that makes sense if it's like 25, 26.
Are you trying to do the drive straight through, or are you like gonna drive to a certain state, stop? Oh, you can't do that anyways. You get your pets. I don't know why I was thinking
Yeah,
your
I
pets can't
am
handle
going to
that.
be the caretaker of my pets. No, we're stopping in Amarillo, Memphis, and then just straight to Columbia. So it'll be an eventful 3 days, but my very lovely, wonderful friend Danielle, that you know, is driving with me. So I'm very excited for that. It'll be a fun road trip, a little girls' road
Oh, it's
trip
gonna be
with
fun.
the animals and the girls in the back.
Is Steven, is he like gonna drive like right behind y'all too, or what's his game plan?
Yeah, so he's gonna drive on his own. God bless his soul. I can barely drive like 4 hours without falling asleep. He's gonna drive on his own the first 2 days, and then his dad is meeting us in Memphis, and then he's gonna help him drive the last day. So we'll have
Oh,
a little
that's good.
party at our new place. Yeah, we'll have 4 people there, right when we move in, and we'll be on air mattresses, so that'll be fun. But just another little adventure,
Oh, gotta love it.
a little adventure.
Gotta love it.
But
Well, Maddie is gonna be packing her mic with her in her car, so we don't have to worry. We'll still be able to record episodes once she
oh
gets
yeah,
there.
yeah. I'm like, maybe I can do some road trip podcasts. Like, hey, just an update. 20 hours into the drive, I'm delirious. No, I will be bringing
You
my
should.
microphone so I can do more podcasts once I get over there before the movers make it.
Yes, yes. Now, question, once they load up on Friday, are they not going straight there?
I don't know how it works.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know how it works. I think we're like one of like 2 or 3 like moves that they're doing. So it's either like if we're the first ones to be loaded up, then we're going to be the last ones that they're stopping at. So I don't know what the other stops are.
okay.
I don't know if that's something we find out, but it's not just like one truck for us and then they go straight there.
Yeah,
But I wish that
I
was
get
the
what you're saying.
case. That'd be nice.
Well, sorry y'all had to hear us yapping about Maddie's move. I'm nosy, and this is just us. We're just yapping, whatever. But let's get into today's episodes. title and what we're going to be talking about. And I'll let you take it on, Maddie.
Sure. So, we figured with it being Mental Health Awareness Month, we would go ahead and just dive into some of our own experiences that we've had, our story, and just talk a little bit about how that translates to Bookstagram. Because, mental health is a battle that can be invisible. People don't realize that other people are fighting things in their life, and things can just look all pretty and perfect on Bookstagram, and we're just posting reviews, posting content. But, the truth is, most people struggle with some form of mental health, whether they're diagnosed or not. And it's something that I'm very passionate about and have had a lot of recent experiences with. So, yeah, we just thought we'd kind of discuss our own experiences, and maybe it would just make people feel a little less like they're on their own with this stuff, because in truth, no one's on their own. So, but yeah. But yeah, we're just going to discuss this stuff just to the level of our comfort. But of course, if anyone has any questions, want to talk about it further, for me, I don't want to speak about Lori's behalf, but for me at least, you're more than welcome to reach out to me and talk with me. I'm always willing to listen, always willing to help, but just figured we'd share some of our experiences here.
Yeah. Let's
So,
do it.
do you want to go ahead, start it off?
Yeah,
Want me to start it off?
I can start it off. So I guess it's not really anything to do with Bookstagram because I never really struggled with a lot of mental health issues until 18 months after I had Mags. Uh, that's when I was diagnosed with postpartum anxiety, which, yeah, that was real rough because I breastfed for 10 months and just, transitioning into like work and being a mom and like the hormones going through your body at the time. It's very overwhelming. And I was just like, I don't know, I just could not. I don't know. I came home today. I was like, I can't be in this spot anymore. And so, that's when I kind of went to the doctor and was like, something's going on. I was like, I don't feel depressed, but like, I was like, I'm just constantly anxious. And that's when they're like, yeah, I think you have some form of postpartum anxiety. And so that was the first time really I ever started to struggle with mental health. And then now looking back on it, that I've educated myself, like I think I always had some form of anxiety, which I know everybody does, whether they want to admit it or not.
To some
But
extent.
yeah. So that's how, like, for me, once I got on like an as needed medication, that helped me a lot. I mean, now I manage myself a lot better. I know what triggers me. I know when to take my medication and feel like, okay, this is gonna stress me out, make me super anxious. But yeah, that's how I kind of just prepare and like it doesn't really affect me posting on social media, but it does in a way. Like lately, I'm just been getting it and like it's hard to not like get in your head about things and then that gets brings in the anxiety when posting online and like, oh, is someone gonna like this or they're not gonna like this or they're not gonna like me for me and then you see all these negative things that happen, like you see someone else growing, you're like, well, why is it not me? And it's a bitter pill to like learn how to navigate those things when like posting on social media and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I think it all just kind of comes in together.
Yeah, I feel like too we've talked a little bit about the anxiety that you have and what triggers you. Like if I remember correctly, driving or just like not driving necessarily, but like being on roads and traveling and just the timing of all of that. I feel like we've talked about that before, especially like airports and just kind of being on your own navigating those things.
Well, see, like traveling by myself, I'm fine. It's when
Mhm.
I have Max with me. And I
Mhm.
think it's because she's so unpredictable and like when she's two, my daughter's two. And so not knowing how she's gonna handle that, like I remember where did I took her to Holiday World up in I think it's in Indiana. And we went on like a free day. My mom got us free tickets and it was first time that's not the first time I took Magnolia to amusement park because I've taken her to Busch Gardens. But I didn't take my anxiety meds before we went. Magnolia was not having it. And Magnolia doesn't nap on the go. So like we're having no nap. She's throwing a fit. I'm overwhelmed. The only time that she was fine is when we were playing in the pool. But I'm like, she can't be out in the sun for that long. I was like shaking inside my soul and I was like, we gotta go home. I was like, I'm done. Like I get real quiet. I shut down and like, I'm just constantly just like, just anxious. Like I just can't even function. I'm like, yeah, I didn't take my anxiety meds today.
Yeah, and I
I
I
was like,
can't even
maybe
imagine that though. Like, because I don't have any kids. However, I feel like just having your own anxiety for you to have to manage, but then also having, I don't want to say that she fuels your anxiety, but it kind of does fuel into it.
no.
But I think that that's extremely hard to manage when you're trying to manage it yourself for yourself, but then you have a whole other human being dependent on you. And it's not like a dog where if you don't walk them for the day, they'll be okay. It's like you have to bathe her, you have to feed her, get her ready, attend to her. Like this is a whole tiny human being. So I can only imagine how much more that would just contribute to that overwhelm that you're feeling.
Well, too, it's also like today, not gonna lie, we were potato couches today. Didn't do anything. It was raining. Wait, whatever. Well, my daughter's getting her 2-year-old Muller. She's teething, and so she doesn't feel well, and she constantly wants to be on me. So I get very overstimulated, which Matt hates that word. I'm like, whatever, you can get over it. But she just like, I mean, she's legit having to sit on me, be on me, kicking me. I'm like, girl, I love you, but get off of me. Like I get so just like quit touching me. Like, I don't know. Just like I just feel like I'm suffocated. And it's like you said, like my husband is super helpful and he helps me anytime that I come yelling for him. But dads will never understand what it's like to be a mom. You're constantly on. You don't ever get to be off. Like it's like, okay, wake up. Like Magnolia was crying this morning. Okay, I'm the first one up with her. Luckily now she can go get her own breakfast and whatnot, but most times she's still like, I gotta change her diaper, I gotta tend to all of her needs. And most of them, like, okay, go get your dad because I need a break. But she still wants me all the time. She goes, well, I want mama. I want mama. And I love that. Because sometimes, I don't know, I always struggled when I first became a mom because, like, so many mothers were like, oh my God, like, I absolutely love it. This is the best thing ever. And don't get me wrong, I love being a mom. I love
Yeah.
everything that comes with it. Magnolia's my mini best friend. But I struggle some days. I enjoy my me time. I enjoy my trips alone by myself. I enjoy like that breather of like not having to focus on taking someone else every day. I can, it's nice that I can like leave when I go on my book trips. Matt stays here with her and I have family and friends who help me out so I get to do this and it works out. I think that really helps a lot with my mental health, to be honest, when I get my little weekend breaks. Like, to be honest, I was gonna be leaving for Florida Friday for the holiday weekend, but things just didn't work out. So I was a little sad about it,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
Well,
I just say it wasn't meant to be.
and you know what? It's funny that you said that where people glorify being a mom. And it was actually someone on Bookstagram that we had like talked to and like, it just came up in conversation where she was like, "I thought you were a mom." And I'm like, "No, like cuz for me like I want kids. I don't know when I want kids, but I think part of it scares me that like I can be selfish right now and I can go on trips. I can go do things because I have amazing friends who can watch my dog, who can check in on my cat, or my husband's home, right? So part of me is scared to lose that independence. But this person had told me like people glorify it and she's like it's not all fucking roses and rainbows. She's like it sucks some days and she's like, I love my kids, but my kids remind me of why I didn't want kids, but I have them and I love them dearly and I wouldn't change anything. But she's like, people just make it seem like it's this most amazing, best thing in the world when it shouldn't be glorified because it's hard work. So I feel like that just kind of like connected with what you said of you enjoy your trips out, you enjoy that break, that breather, because you have this idea of what motherhood looks like, and I can see it through your lens, but I'm not going to truly experience it until I experience it. So, like,
100%.
you can tell me all about being a mom and what it's like. However, like, I'm not going to fully know and understand until I have my own kids and I'm going through it, right? So,
Well, too, and like don't get me wrong, there are some mothers out there who just adapt to the role and just love every part of it. And I understand there are some women who would crave for what I have and don't think that I ever take it for granted. I just think that like I'm allowed to like I said, this we're talking about mental health. This is my mental health, what I struggled with.
Mhm.
I will say it's gotten easier now that she's older, but I say that, but like I'm also like, well, I remember the time that because the thing is I'm a new mom. I'm technically a new mom. Like she's my first child I've ever had. Like I like to think now, I'm like, oh my God, I could never like me and Matt have been debating on having a second child. And I'm also kind of like, okay, what would my life look like with two kids? I've worked full time. I do this stuff on the side. Like, would I be able to travel still? So it's a lot to think about, even financially, like, you know, my husband's self-employed, so we don't get our insurance through an employer. We have to go through a marketplace. And I mean, just I'm not going to be give real loud here. Just for me to have a kid when I had Magnolia, I mean, it was around $5,000 just after insurance. And that was because I had now I had to have Magnolia early because had hypertension. But still, I mean, a lot of people don't just have 5 grand just sitting around.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to think about because, me and Matt have gone back and forth. We're like, oh, we can give her this or we can give her that, but we can't do that if we have two. We could send her to the best schools or we could send her to public. It is one of the most challenging things to do as a parent and trying to decide those things. And so I try not to sit there and dwell on them because I'm like, at the end, she's gonna, I don't know. I don't ever want her to be alone, but I'm also kind of like, can I mentally handle two on my own? So
But I,
not that
I
I'll
feel
be
like
alone. I
you
have my
said,
wonderful husband, but he's gonna have to provide harder. He's gonna have to work harder. He's gonna have to work more hours because he's gonna feel like he's gonna have to provide for a whole other person. And I feel like that's a lot to put on him. Like, yes, I work full time, but he's our main income because I only work
Mhm.
like 4 days a week. And so, it's a lot to think about. And I'd say it's not the same as it was back in the day. My parents are wonderful. They're great grandparents, but my mom still works full time. My mom's in college getting her master's. My dad does not live here. We don't have the support like they did
Mhm.
when me and my brothers were younger. My grandma was with us every single day, picking us up from school. I'm like, I don't have that. My mom is still
Yeah.
going to be working when my daughter's in school. So it's definitely something hard to navigate and try to, do what's best for you. Plus, another thing I think about too, I'm like, okay, when you have kids or when my friend Becca has kids, I'm like, my kid's gonna be like 6 years older than y'all's kids
Max
whenever
can just
y'all have kids,
babysit. Mags can just babysit. What are you talking about? We'll be like, hey kids, we're going out. Bye. Mags, watch the kids. Make sure they go to bed at 8. You can have whatever's in the pantry. Enjoy your night. She'll babysit.
Kids are the same age. Me and Becca, we always told each other like, oh, we're gonna go on summer vacation with our kids. I'm like, girl, Magnolia's gonna be like 4 years older before you even get pregnant. So,
Yes.
but I understand, like, that's what the hard part is. Like, everybody's timeline is different. Like, I'm
Hmm.
gonna be 29 this summer, or actually in a couple weeks, I'll be 29. And I always told myself that I would never have kids past 30. So really, if you're looking at it, I need to be getting pregnant this next year. And originally, we did think about doing that, but I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work gonna be in the game plan. So I'm like, I don't need to let 30 dictate it because I know people out here who are past 30 and having their first kids, so and they want 5 kids. I'm like, you rock on.
Yeah.
If I have
You
one
do
more kid,
you.
I'm one and done. I'm two and done. Two and done, y'all. Two and done. But
Yeah.
I don't, that is the struggles that we deal with.
And that's not like, again, that's something that I can only think about, but I can't fully
Yeah.
understand yet. So
Oh yeah.
that's
See, and it's the same thing, because I know we've talked a lot about your mental health stuff, and I've
mhm.
never experienced anything that you've been going through a lot recently, and um, all I can do is kind of support you in the way that you need it to be, and you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's hard to like, and I feel like that's the thing with mental health. Like I have like one of my best friends in the world. We have been friends since we were like 2, 3 years old. And we've always lived apart from each other, like never close to each other, across the country, like far away. But it's like we're really bonding now because we're going through the same shit. And I'm like, I feel like when you go through that like trauma and the struggles and you find someone that you can connect with, that's like a real connection there because you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I felt this way today. And they're like, same dog, like I felt this way. And it's just like, even when you're not on that same like wavelength of like your mental health struggles, like if you have any, or even if you just like nothing like official, if you just struggle with anything, like it's you just have to be like empathetic and like you can't be sympathetic because it's not something that you've personally experienced, but like my struggles, like you're very empathetic about it, and you, like you said, you support me in the ways that you can. And when I'm not texting you because I'm just in la la land in my own world, you're like, hey, haven't talked to you in a while. I'm like, yeah, sorry about that. I've thought about texting you, but I haven't. But yeah, I totally understand that. And yeah, same thing with you. It's like I don't understand like fully because one, like I don't have any children, and then two, my anxiety is a little different than yours where I don't, experience the same things that you do. However, I can be
Yeah.
empathetic and support you through it. Yeah.
And that's what makes us such good friends. And I feel like any friend that you have who deals with a mental health issue, I feel like if they can't understand or be with you through those hard times, they're not your friend. They're not friends with you for the right reasons.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on The Bachelor saying that. Not
Well,
here for the right reason.
it's just funny because like I have learned this like so a lot of my mental health struggles are very much tied into me being an athlete. Like I played softball in college. I played sports my whole life and then I just kind of like uprooted my whole entire life and moved 2,000 miles away from a place where everyone I know and everything I know was not there. So I forgot my train of thought. One of my mental health struggles is ADHD. Forgot what I was about to say. However, where I was probably going with it was a lot of my mental health struggles, like officially, were diagnosed like about a year and a half ago. However, definitely struggled with a lot of stuff earlier than that and saw a lot of signs. And it just got to the point where it was like affecting personal relationships with people. And I just needed to do something about it. Cause I'm like, even if I am diagnosed with something, fantastic. I can get some answers. If I'm not diagnosed with something, fantastic. I know it's not that and I can still continue to look for answers. I remember where I was going with my point before. I learned this from moving all the way out to the other side of the country. But like proximity of where you are to where a friend is should not like proximity should not be the ultimate like deciding factor of like whether you're going to be friends with somebody or not. Like is it great to have you 8 hours of a drive away versus 26 hours of a drive away? Absolutely, of course. But I learned that proximity is a big thing in today's world where if you're not close to someone, it's really hard to like for two people to keep and maintain that friendship. But going off of your point of saying like if they're not there for you through your stuff, then that's not a real friend, which it is very true because I could not text Gloria for like a week and maybe we'll just text like really quick back and forth about some stuff, but like we talk like a lot more than just quick conversations. So she's like, hey, haven't talked to you in a while. Like, I know Gloria's not going to be like, oh, Maddie doesn't like me. Like, I'm just going to stop talking to her. Like, she knows I'm just going through some stuff and I'm there. I'm just actively not reaching out to Gloria. She's like, hey, girl, like, what's going on? Everything good? I'm like, yeah, I guess you could say that. Sure. But yeah, I definitely learned that after moving out to Vegas. Not like anything was wrong with the friendships, but things just kind of slowly deteriorated.
It's definitely life is also just life, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's like when you texted me legit Tuesday and I'm pretty sure I did not respond till Friday.
Okay, that's like I do that to you every week, so it's fine.
Maddie sent me something and I looked at it at work and then I got busy and I left my phone and then I was like, oh, I never heard back from Maddie and I click no response. I'm like, my Lord.
You're like,
I do that
yeah,
so much, so much. I'm like, my bad. She goes, oh, you're good. You're good. And like,
yeah,
I feel like, I feel like true friends have to understand that, we love today's technology. It is such an amazing thing to have with people who do distance. Because like I said, most of my closest friends, which are you and Becca, y'all both live far away from me. Like Becca is in Florida. Well, you're about to be a little bit closer than what Becca is, but still, like, I feel like, in my opinion, though, I think friendships like that in adult life are actually easier to maintain because like, I mean, I have friends who live here where I do, but I feel like there's a lot more of an expectation when they're, oh, hey, we can hang out all the time. We could do this. Like, why don't you want to do this with me? Why don't you want to do that with me?
Yeah.
I'm a low maintenance friend, but not because I'm not gonna lie, if I'm ready to go shopping, I hate to say, I'm calling up my 83-year-old grandma like, hey, nanny, you want to go shopping with me? Because like, I mean, I can never disappoint my grandma. So
Yeah.
I'm calling up a family member to go do something on a whim. But there's some people who want you to be able to do that. And I'm like, I can't be doing all that.
Yeah. And to your point, I think it's harder to find adult friendships, but easier to maintain because it's hard to find it because I don't know, like I say I'm too old, but truly I am too old to waste my time on friendships that are not going to help me grow or benefit me. And that sounds selfish to say, but if it's not mutually beneficial to be like really close or good friends with you, like that takes a toll on me and my mental health where like if you're extremely high maintenance or it's just really hard to be your friend, like that's a lot for me and I don't like to be authentic with my friends and genuine. And I feel like when I get to that point where I'm not having genuine interactions with you anymore, it's really hard for me to like keep up with that. Um
Well, remember, it was kind of like wild and windy because you and I are a little bit different, like socialization. Like we're both outgoing, but well, remember I felt so bad because I was hanging out with Chelsea and all them, and then I was like, oh wait, where's Maddie? Where's Maddie? Like I felt so bad, and then you're like, you said to me like, well, you're like the least person to ever leave somebody out, and I'm over here mentally thinking like, oh my God, I don't want to like leave Maddie out.
Here I am, like literally sitting at a table reading my Kindle. Everyone else is like dancing. I'm like, y'all go have fun. You have fun. I'm just gonna read over here. Like my energy levels and my social meter, like I was just not about it. And I'm like, I'm not the person to be like, Gloria, if I'm sitting, you're sitting. If I'm reading my Kindle, you're reading your Kindle. Like, no, go, please. Like, go have fun. Like, I literally did that the other night with Steven. Like, we were at a bar crawl in the arts district. I was getting so tired. And this was like all of his friends and people he works with. I was getting so tired. It was like 11:30, so rightfully so, I was tired. However, I went back to the car and took a nap in the car for an hour. And then I woke up and I'm like, you ready to go? And he's like, yeah. Like, I just Irish goodbye to everyone, didn't even say bye, went to the car, literally took a nap for an hour. But that's who I am. Like, I'm not the kind of person that's like, if I'm tired, you're tired. If I'm going home, you're going home. If I'm done, you're done. Like, no, like, you like we can coexist in different capacities, but like I have my limits and I don't want it to like limit other people, you know?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And like I said, I think that's the matureness too of an adult friendship is like because like it's like my husband. My husband and I are complete opposite. My husband does not like to go on vacations. He doesn't like to go out. He only does these socialized events or goes on trips because he knows that makes me happy. And so that's the happy medium we get. Like I said, this we don't really go on many trips and we usually go without him because he just doesn't enjoy it and it works out, you
Yeah.
know. Because I know a lot of people are like, you're going without your husband, and I'm like, yeah. Then I'm like, he doesn't like to travel. And if he does like to travel, I mean, like legit, it's like 2 days and we're done. Like he wants to be back home in his bed. So it's the
Mhm.
happy medium that it's like I'm not gonna lie, our Savannah trip, we're basically having 2 days while we're there because it's an 8 hour drive to Savannah, and then we're gonna have all day Monday. We're gonna go spend the day in Savannah, and then Matt hates the beach, hates it. But we're gonna go to Tybee Island on Tuesday, spend the day at the beach and on the island, and then we're gonna head home on Wednesday. But I'm like, you know what? I think that's the perfect happy medium. I think we can see everything we kind of want to see in Savannah. We're going to stay in Savannah, and it's like a 25 minutes to Tybee Island, so you're not necessarily on the beach, but you're getting a happy medium of both. So I think like it's the same in friendships because sometimes with like even on Bookstagram, you make all these friends, and it's like crap. I haven't DM'd this person in a while. I hope they don't think poorly of me because I ain't talked to them in a few days, or like I haven't talked to them in a week. And it's not that we don't care about you, it's like, hey, I just life has been life and I'm sorry that I haven't checked in, so sometimes that gets on me about Bookstagram because like I've made so many friends and I just don't want them to think that I don't care about them or not don't check in, but I'm just also kind of like, everybody goes through their own stuff at home that's not talked about or discussed about, your Bookstagram, that's kind of everybody's escape.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, so it was a year and a half ago. I went to the doctor to see if I had ADHD because I'm very impulsive. I get very easily agitated, just like 0 to 100. I have a really hard time like tracking and holding conversations, listening to conversations. Like, for example, I was literally in the middle of a talking point and I forgot what I was going to say. So think of me without being on my medication now, trying to have a conversation and listen to everything. And it was really difficult. So I was diagnosed with ADHD, but then I was also diagnosed with mixed anxiety and depressive disorder, which I was not expecting that. But, after I was like talking with my doctor out loud and saying things, I'm like, I guess that does check to have that. And then long story short, I was on meds, was seeing that doctor. She kind of just like ghosted, went to go find another doctor, had a really uncomfy, not like a sexual uncomfy experience, but just uncomfy. Like I was like, I don't want you to be my doctor. I'm getting like weird vibes. Like you're not somebody I like want to see or like I trust with making these decisions for me. So I went out and found a psychiatrist because I had just found out that my insurance actually accepts psychiatry because some insurances you have to pay out of pocket. So I found a psychiatrist, and Sam, if you are ever listening to this for any fucking reason, just know you are the shit. Like I am most like there's two things I'm really three things I'm really nervous about moving away from. My nail tech, Ken, if you're listening to this, Ken, I love you. 2, my dear friends, Jocelyn and Johnny, who always watch Nyla for us, and we actually are watching their dog this weekend. I will miss having that because they always watch our dog when we leave. And then my psychiatrist, I had found him in January, and like I get emotional thinking about it because he has been such a big help for me. Sorry, y'all, if you're watching this. You can. He's been such a big help for me these past few months because I was also diagnosed with the mood disorder. So think like bipolar disorder. Not officially diagnosed, but the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I have family members who have depression, who have bipolar disorder. And it's funny because I would get emotional about nothing. And he's like, how do you feel? And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, do you feel like upset? Do you feel sad? Do you feel angry, frustrated? I'm like, no. And he's like, that's a mood disorder. Like, you're just crying for no reason. But then that also plays into my agitation and my impulsiveness. And I think like the ADHD and the mood disorder just don't work well together. But like to have someone that knows what they're talking about and can help you and again, like with me moving, I've been on 2 different types of stimulant medications for my ADHD now, and I'm on my 4th medication for my mood disorder. It's just been a lot of trial and error with like the first one I had this huge ass allergic reaction like 4 days before Wild and Windy. Like I didn't know if I was gonna go. I was in the ER for 2 days. The second one, I think I was losing hair. I think I had hair loss. So he's like, yeah, no. He's like, we don't want you to be bald. And it's funny because he's bald. And then the third one, it was just really expensive. And then this one, like there's typical things that I've like experienced in the last like, because packing up your whole entire life is very stressful, and typically like building furniture, moving stuff, like anything that takes a long time, I usually lose my patience with very fast, and I'm very like snappy. But yesterday, like Steven and I had gone through like probably for like 8 hours of just packing. And I told him like, I feel like I did really well today. And he's like, no, like we did good. And I'm like, no, I'm not like talking about us packing. Like we did great with packing, but I'm like just me with us doing this stuff. Like I was able to do it. I wasn't really getting like frustrated with you or like snappy. And he's like, yeah, like I was honestly shocked. He's like, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to jinx it. But yeah,
trigger it.
no, for real. Like anything that I'm very impatient, so if something's not moving at the pace that I can move at, I just get very like I get very impatient and frustrated. I'm just like, let's go. Like waiting in lines, traffic, building furniture, moving furniture, unpacking, packing. Like there's things that are triggers for me that I've learned about that I know now are related to that mood disorder that contribute to me being like that. But I feel like now that I'm on this fourth medication for it, it has really helped. And I couldn't have done this or even figured out I have a mood disorder if it wasn't for my psychiatrist. So, number 3, I will miss my psychiatrist. But I feel like, what I experience now has definitely translated a lot to before I got diagnosed, especially after I graduated. And like, I'm a very independent person. I don't mind being far away from family. I actually like it. Like, I miss my family and friends, yes, but I enjoy being on my own and like building my own life and my own friends. However, playing a sport for my whole life and then being on a college softball team and like being a part of a community of like girls and then a community of like other athletes to moving out 2,000 miles away where I literally did not know anyone, didn't make any friends until like 3 years in. Steven was gone for basically a year and a half. I had my cat, which is why Poppy is my girl. It was hard. It was really hard. And I feel like that's where I noticed a lot of like the ADHD stuff coming up. Because, I was so excited to have my freedom and have my own time to do stuff. And if I was sick, I could rest. If I was not sick, I could also rest. But I feel like now that I didn't have that structure that softball and college provided me, I really saw the ADHD just like it just fucking threw up all over my life. Like, and I struggled with it for a really long time, but it wasn't until there was just like a certain point before my birthday last year where I'm like, I need help because I can't do it myself.
Well,
So,
I think so many people go undiagnosed with those issues as well.
oh yeah, yeah.
Like, like I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but I know I have OCD. I know I have ADHD. Like, that's one of the, I think the hard parts about when you get into Bookstagram, which I'm not trying to get off your topic, but you're talking about ADHD. For me, this is the thing, but you get into the posting on social media, having to be on your phone all the time. I will be reading my book and then I pick up my phone and I doom scroll for the next 2 hours. And it's like, I was like, wait, I was reading my book. Like, why did I put my book down? And
Yeah.
so our mindset, the way that it wires and like, you don't even realize you do it. You just do it.
Yeah.
Like, I know I doom scrolled for like 4 hours the other day and I'm like, why am I doing this? It's giving me a headache. And
Mhm.
it's just like your brain is just wired so differently, and there's such a stigma with being diagnosed with all that stuff. Everyone's like, oh, everybody's got that, like blah 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 blah. You don't need med support, and I'm like, that's not your call to make. Some people cannot function without it. Like, I don't know. Like I'm dyslexic, and so I struggle with like I know what kind of sets my dyslexia off, but I'm not gonna lie, I've had it my whole life, so I play it off a lot, and I'm like, oh yeah, my bad, sorry, dyslexic brain kicking in. But some people are like, why don't you do something about it? And I'm like, do what? Like I know it's not mental health, but it's still a disability, and
It's a learning disability.
I'm like, I still get through my day. I have succeeded pretty well in my life with this. I may not have a bachelor's degree or a master's, and I don't have a six-figure paying job, but I do pretty well off for the age of almost 29. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for me, like I just wanted to go get the help. I wasn't expecting a diagnosis because I just wanted the help. So for me, just going to do something about it was that first step for me. And it just kind of like set off like a series of like a domino effect of, getting diagnosed, getting medicated, like changing dosages, changing medication types, like to changing 4 different types of medications. And I was racing against the clock. Like my psychiatrist and we are racing against the clock with me moving. Like, yes, I can still see him virtually. However, it's just, I don't know. I feel like, of course, hindsight, I wish I would have gone to get stuff figured out earlier in my life, like even in childhood, because I can see where a lot of these issues were present in my childhood now. And I even asked my psychiatrist, I'm like, oh, here's an example of what I think was this. Am I right? And he's like, yeah, that's probably like why you had that outcome for that scenario, or that's the way that you acted because of this stuff. So, hindsight, I wish I could have gotten diagnosed earlier. However, my mom is very against my ADHD medication. I don't know why. My brother had a bad experience with it growing up, and I think, and this was like 20 years ago, maybe like 15, 20 years ago. So I don't know the science and the pharmacology aspect of it. However, I am doing what I need to do right now. And like, yes, I cannot be on it forever, but for what I need it for right now, it's working. But yeah, I think that everyone has their own mental health journey. Everyone has their own experiences, and it may be different. You may have something a little different than what I experience, what Gloria experiences. But at the end of the day, like, everyone's going through something. Like, everyone's going through something. We just choose to not publicize it or be open about it. And I'm actually, shameless plug, a rep for a company called Own Your Stigma. They just have a lot of really cute merch and stuff like that, where like one of the shirts I have, it says, I don't even remember what it says if I'm being honest. I think it says Own Your Stigma, and then it says I feel things, like really big, because that's like a part of my diagnoses of just having really big emotions and feeling things really big. But for me, a lot of that stuff just kind of looks like I don't take care of myself very well. I may present like I do, however, I do things because I have to do them, and it's usually at the very last minute. Some days I will literally eat watermelon with tahini and a peanut butter and jelly, maybe a Coke Zero, and that's it. Other days I'm like on it. I hit my protein goals. I'm going to the gym. I'm doing all these things, but it's been really hard for me in adulthood to take care of myself. And that's the biggest thing for me in my personal life that I've been struggling with, is taking care of myself. And thankfully, like, I have amazing friends like you, and like longtime friends, and my husband, who is, he has his own stuff that he deals with taking care of myself. He helps out a lot, and I always joke, I'm like, I'd be living in a box on the side of US 19, number one, if it wasn't for him. And number two, I would either be extremely fat or extremely like thin, because I would just eat takeout all the time. I would just eat, or I just wouldn't eat at all. Like, I
Garbage.
don't know. Yeah, I just wouldn't take care of myself very well. So he's
I
like
will say
truly.
your husband, he's great because I remember when we were in California, I think that when we just had a really busy day. I think it was that like Saturday we were there. He was like, "Hey girls, y'all just go up there and check on Maddie." I was like, "Look at you!" Like, yeah, I'll go crawl on the bed and spoon with her.
I don't
I
even
think he just
know.
had a headache. I think he just had a headache.
Maybe. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, because
Well,
I know he.
it's when no, it was our last night. It was last night because Sunday night, because I was having to, no, I left Sunday. So it was Saturday night and we were at the liquor store and I think like you were ready to just go home. We hadn't ate dinner yet. We were eating a late dinner at like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night. We had done tours all day. Yeah, it had been a day and it was just a
Yeah.
late night and we got in like the Friday before. So it was yeah.
Yeah. He's really great, and I'm like very grateful, blessed, thankful, all the above, to have him around and just be so like consistent in my life. He's a really great cook, which helps with me eating my food. So, but no, he's really great.
You can make him feel better. I still think about the cheeseburgers that he made because I've never had a burger that good.
And that was with like, that wasn't even with his actual seasoning and stuff like that. Oh my gosh. No, he's fantastic. But actually, a fun fact is that Gloria, we've established this. Gloria and I went to high school together, but my husband and I, we went to middle school and high school together. So we all went to high school together, but he didn't remember Gloria, and we joke about that.
Our high school was so big, and plus I went to East Lake for 1 year, so I don't know, Shane. I didn't even know who he was either.
Yeah.
Shout out to yeah. I didn't think it was funny the whole catfish thing. I was like, bro, go whip out that yearbook.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to reminisce on that in another episode, but yeah, no, he's really great, and just, picking up the slack when I'm just not feeling great. And for me, like you know what's funny, like self-care, everyone's like, self-care, go get your nails done. Like I get my nails done because I like getting my nails done. That's not self-care. Self-care for me is literally doing nothing. Like weekends, I want to do absolutely nothing. Like I want to lay out in the sun and tan and do nothing. I want to lay on the couch and do nothing. I want to rot in my bed and do nothing. Like that's my
See,
self-care.
traveling is self-care for me
Yeah, no.
and traveling by myself. Like yeah, no, like when I go on my week-long trips, and I hate to say it, like I was coming home from work Friday, and take for granted, I was going to meet Becca in Panama City on Friday. It's an 8-hour drive. I said, yeah, I'll come down Friday. It'd put me there like 1 a.m. I would have had all day Saturday, Sunday, come home tomorrow morning. And I didn't decide that I was going until Friday afternoon. Like I texted her at work. I said, hey, I'm coming. It was just too late of notice for her family. And so I was like, okay, no worries. So I didn't go. And I could feel myself this weekend. Like, not, I wasn't mad at her because it was, it was just a mutual, like, oh crap, like I waited too long. But I was also kind of like, man, I was really looking forward to going to the beach and hanging out with my bestie and having a game night and hanging out with her whole entire family. They're so funny. And I was like, oh, now I'm gonna have to wait. My next weekend away is not until August.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like I think if there's anything to take away from this episode, it's find a good doctor, find a good psychiatrist. If you're not getting good vibes from your doctor, don't stick with them. There's better doctors out there, and I can attest to that because I had like a good doctor. I had a really not so good doctor, and then I have a great psychiatrist now. And like he literally like it makes me cry as I showed you before the fact that I'm leaving. Find a good doctor, self-care, whatever that looks like for you. If you gotta do nothing, if you gotta travel, if you gotta get your nails done, if it's just reading, do self-care because you have all these feelings and these emotions and you need to balance it out somehow. So self-care, and just know even if you're not comfortable talking about it, you're not alone ever, even if you're not dealing with something like exclusively like I am or Gloria is or the next person. Like it like people that have mental health struggles just get it with other people that have mental health struggles. Like we all it's just like we're just on the same wavelength of like I know when I get in my funks, like Gloria's gonna, pick up the end of the slack for our friendship. And then when Gloria's in her funks, it's like I'm gonna pick up the end here, like it doesn't have to be like just friendships. It can just be like interactions with people. But yeah,
Yes.
just find a good doctor, self-care. You're not alone. But yeah,
Find a good support system. Have good
yeah.
friends. Have people who have your back. Don't worry about people who don't have your back because they're not meant to be there anyways, and
Yeah.
just do what's best for you. I know you probably hear that a lot from everybody, but I know this episode
You have
was
to be
kind of
selfish
heavy, but
sometimes.
yeah. Yeah, I know this episode is a little different from like our bookish talk, but mental health plays into everything in your aspect of life, like
Hmm.
I was saying, like, distractions and just not feeling well. And, if you don't take care of yourself, then, I mean,
Who's
you are
gonna do it?
you,
If you don't take
you
care of
can't,
you, who's gonna do
yeah,
it?
who's
No
gonna
one.
do it?
Yeah. You got to do
Exactly,
it for you.
exactly.
Like, that's a lot of stuff that I've just learned in life is that you have to do it for yourself because no one's going to do it for you. So if you're not doing it for
Yeah.
yourself, then who, right? But yeah, I mean, I feel like mental health definitely ties into Bookstagram because for me, what it looks like is I just kind of like go like, I don't think I posted since like May 11th, but I'm active on Bookstagram, but I just don't want to put the effort into it. So I feel like it ebbs and flows with me where how I'm feeling with my mood, my depression, my ADHD. Like there was a portion of time where my medication was back ordered and I was just like, I don't want to say I depend on it because I can function without my ADHD medication. However, it's very nice having it. And I was just like an overstimulated, just like I literally felt like my skin was crawling when I wasn't on it. But it just looks like disengaging a lot. Like I very much like retreat and isolate and disengage. And if you're wondering where I am, I'm still here. I'm lurking in the shadows. I'm just not actively posting. So, but I just feel like
She's
how
always
you
there.
feel. I'm always here. I'm always here. But how you feel definitely flows into Bookstagram. And if you're not posting, that's okay. If you are posting, that's great. If you're posting and you don't want to post, then don't post. If you got to do that for self-care, you're like, I just need a break. Take a break, girl. The people that'll be there will still be there. The people that want to be there, they'll be there. But yeah, I know it was, like Gloria
Yep.
said, it was a heavy topic, but it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we
Even
just
though this is
wanted,
gonna air, even though this is gonna air in June, we're recording this in May, so
yeah, yeah,
it's
just
still
wanted to
counting
touch on it.
towards, yeah.
Yeah, just wanted
I
to
think it
touch
was
on it.
fun. I feel like that this episode gives our listeners too a really good eye opener on that we're real people.
Hmm.
We deal with the real, we both have life lessons and things that we've gone through, and we're not this fake show influencers, bookster
No,
girls just putting on a
I
facade.
literally,
We're real and we're
I
real
I
with you
literally
know.
cry at 80-year-old women tap dancing on America's Got Talent. Like, I'm such an emotional person, and I go through so much
I have
stuff
been
out.
watching people's graduation videos or the mascot graduation videos on TikTok, and these things got me tearing up. I
No,
cannot.
there's just so much stuff that, like, I personally go through outside of Bookstagram that I, like, I'm not broadcasting it, but I'm just not there. So that if you're ever wondering where I am, I'm here. I'm just maybe going through it. Yeah, we're real people with real experiences, and hopefully whoever is listening maybe feels the same way too, where just give yourself a little grace. Just give yourself a little grace today. If it's not a good
Yeah.
day and you felt like it wasn't good, there's always tomorrow. So,
I love that.
yeah,
That's a good end off for this episode. Make sure
this
y'all
is
hop over to our Bookstagram, uh, and give us a follow and just keep an eye out on future episodes. We have a lot of fun things planned and coming up, and I think next time, maybe we have one more episode before you move, but in the next two episodes, Maddie's gonna be moved across to the US, so
a
it's gonna
new
be,
setup behind me, not all my stuff just sitting back there.
oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, well, this has been fun. Great. I think this is a great topic. I think this, like I said, gave our listeners a whole new take on us and what we've gone through. And we hope y'all enjoyed it. We hope that y'all could relate to it and hope you come back to listen for some more yapping on the next
Yeah.
episode.
Hopefully, this is my first time crying on the podcast. I doubt it'll be my last, but if I'm crying, then, at least I'm feeling my emotions. That's okay. It's all right to feel your emotions. Just feel them and let it
It's
out.
okay.
It's
Let
okay.
it out. Well,
But
until next time, you guys.
we'll see y'all later. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Much love.